Shadow and Bone, Chapter 13. We celebrated the feast of Sankt Nikolai with huge bowls of dumpling soup in kutya made with honey and poppy seeds. I have zero fucking clue what kutya is, but I do know what a dumpling soup is. So I'm gonna try to make it. That's what we're getting. Hi, my name is Nadia Lee Owens, and welcome to Bi Black and Bookish, a booktube channel where a bi black girl who reads too much has so much unwarranted confidence that she fully believes that she can nail a recipe first time she's ever made it. And that's these Pelmeni dumpling soup I'm making, inspired by the passage I just read from Shadow and Bone. The trailer of season 2 just came out, and so I'm pretty excited. I do really like the show almost instantly, way more than I liked the book. The book, it took until like the second half of the second book for me to kind of like it. The third one was my favorite, but I don't know. I like, what's her name? Alana? What the fuck is her name? Alina. I think that's how to pronounce it. She's just so much more likable in the show than she is in the book. And she's just a way more active character. And I also like Maul more. He kind of gives off Sweet Himbo vibes. In the book, he gives off rude, dumbass jock vibes. I just was not into it. So today we're making pelmeni soup, which is just dumpling soup from Russia. Ravka, the country that Shadow and Bone is set in, for the most part, there's that weird second part with Six of Crows. It just doesn't really fit. That's my least favorite part of the show. Six of Crows doesn't really fit in narrative-wise that much to me. But Ravka is very much inspired by Eastern Europe, specifically Russian. And so I decided to give this Russian soup a try. I originally was going to make croquembouche, which is like, not Russian, but it's more like a French pastry. It's a tower of, there's the baby. It's a pastry tower that is covered in spun sugar. And I think they described eating it with tea in the third book. So I wanted to give that a try. Also, would have been my first time trying it, and it would have been on camera. But croquembouche requires nearly a dozen eggs. And right now, we're in an economic crisis, and I do not have egg money. So I am giving this a try. It only requires 1 egg. So for the dough, it requires 2/3 cups of whole milk. I don't typically drink whole milk because I get a tummy ache. I may or may not be lactose intolerant.
I think the tummy ache is a dead giveaway.
The tummy ache may be a dead giveaway to me being lactose intolerant. Two-thirds milk, a teaspoon of salt. I never measure the salt because, again, of my unwarranted confidence. I'm just eyeballing a teaspoon. A large egg. And then 3/4 cup of water. We're gonna mix all that together. Cooking and baking really requires so much arm strength. That's why my arms are so toned. And now we are going to shift in some flour. This measures out 4.5 cups. I'm gonna put like a half. No, more like 3/4. I use my hands a lot when baking because it's not like I'm usually giving it away to anyone outside of the house. And if I get sick, y'all are gonna get sick. So now I'm gonna put it in my KitchenAid mixer over here. I'm gonna use the dough hook for the KitchenAid mixer. Now I'm gonna put in more flour. Another like 3/4. What was your favorite part of the Shadow and Bone show, Natalie?
I can't think of anything that really stood out to me. Like, I like it a lot. But I guess more towards like the end with the whole like kind of body horror part with the antlers in the chest.
Oh yeah, that is not how I imagined that in the book. In the book, I just it kind of described it as just like a necklace.
Yeah, making video.
Yeah.
You really are making like books, cooking. What else are you gonna talk about in your YouTube channel? Now you gotta teach them how to do their taxes too.
I don't know how to do my taxes. You know this about me.
Your mom paid so much.
My mom done my taxes for most of my life.
Y'all haven't done your taxes yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I'll do
Are
it
we supposed to
soon.
do them already?
Huh?
Are we supposed to do them already?
I didn't do.
I clearly remember I did them last year.
Dumbass motherfucker. So yeah, I'm just making dumplings, specifically for a dumpling soup, because it's like a Russian dumpling soup, and this is kind of like a dish that they described in Shadow and
You're
Bone.
not recording right now, right?
I am recording right now. Everything you
shit.
said and seen
Oh
is going in the video on YouTube.
You're editing that out, right?
No.
You didn't say nothing.
I thought you knew I was clearly doing stuff. Yeah, we were just talking about Shadow and Bone.
That's a book
You
you
watched
Natalie
the
read,
book,
right? Yeah.
Natalie hasn't read the book,
Oh, you didn't read the
but
book?
we did watch the show, and season 2 trailer dropped.
Oh.
So I'm trying to be relevant.
Staying hip with the kids.
I'm staying hip with the kids, even though the book came out.
Forever.
Early 2000s?
No, it's not that old.
Not that old.
I think it came out somewhere around 2012. I think near our like last year
no,
of high school
That's
or
like
first
6
year of
years
college.
ago, man. That's
That's
a long
longer
time.
than 6 years ago. That's nearly 11 years ago.
Holy shit.
Yeah, we're old.
Oh my god.
Maybe that's why lately I found myself getting really annoyed when reading YA. Because I'm like, these dumbass kids. It's not that big of a deal.
Isn't there a new category now of like?
There's new adult, and that's more targeted towards, I guess, people in their 20s. It still has like kind of like the flavoring
Of teen.
of YA, but almost always it has like a sex scene in it.
Oh, okay.
And that's how you know. Or I guess graphic sex scene, because I remember reading Twilight, and the final book had a sex scene in it.
Was it Fade to Black?
It was kind of more fade to black, so it was very like PG-13 related. PG-13.
So it's just
sex scene.
implied.
Yeah, it's almost always implied. My dough's starting to look like dough.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
But season 2 is basically going to be starting with the second book, which was called Siege and Storm. And in Siege and Storm, they're off to look for one of the artificers. I think that's what it's called. One of the things that amplifies their powers.
Amplifiers.
Amplifies, that's it. And so Alina's trying to find it before the Darkling finds it. But at the end of the previous season, it's implied that his face got really fucked up, right? But in the trailer, it doesn't look that bad. Not as bad as I imagined it in my head while reading it.
It's like that movie you saw with like the girl with the fake nose, and it was like, you know, realistically speaking, it didn't look that bad. But
It
like,
didn't.
Monster, you look horrible.
Penelope's nose just looked like a slightly weird nose.
Yeah.
It didn't even really look like a pig.
Yeah.
If you would have just told me, oh, it's just like a weird birth defect, I'd be like, oh, okay, that happens. She looked like a normal girl, and a normal, conventionally attractive girl.
Yeah.
People are just scared of making people look scarier.
Yeah.
Or more like horrifying.
So I think it's because they really don't want to waste the beautiful, beautiful face of Ben Barnes.
That's true. I mean,
Of Prince Caspian.
Natalie's sitting there like, put me in charge. I'll mess them up.
I'll mess the motherfuckers up. Back to the mixer.
Why do you keep sifting the flour?
so it doesn't get clumpy.
And also, that's what the recipe said to do.
Okay, that's fair.
I will be including the recipe in the description below because it's not like I got this from my
Got this.
babushka or something like that. No, I got it online. Woo, dough looking good. I'm happy.
I don't know. I wish more fantasy leaned more into that kind of like horrifying aspect of like curses or just permanent disfigurement or just generally making people look less human.
Yeah. I think that's fun and exciting and a little spooky.
Yeah.
And I like spooky. Well, now I like spooky. I used to be really afraid of horror. Did I tell you the story with my grandma? I think I did.
I don't know.
It's, so my grandma really liked movies and stuff. She had like a whole big collection of DVDs.
Yeah.
And when I was real little, I think I was somewhere around 7, and my sister was 4. She showed me and my sister Candyman. It wasn't the first Candyman. I think it was like the second or third one. It was one of the Candymans that was apparently filmed in New Orleans, that's where we were. And so my grandma decided it was a great time to share that fact. And I could not sleep that night.
Yeah, parents really be out here just showing the most horrifying movies.
Right?
I'm pretty sure around the same age, my mom showed me Chucky. And I was like, what?
Here's my dough. My beautiful dough. Dough, a female deer.
Dope.
So now I am going to let this rest for 15 to 30 minutes. Meanwhile, I am going to cover it. Probably just let it stand for 15 minutes, just for the sake of time. For now, I am going to start working on the filling. So for the filling, we're doing 1 pound of ground pork, 1/2 pound of ground chicken, 1 onion, which we're going to grate in here. Actually, instead of grating it, I may just chop it up and put it in the food processor. That sounds a lot simpler. I may do that. And 2 cloves of garlic. I always add an extra one because there's no such thing as too much garlic. Salt, pepper, a teaspoon of vinegar. It doesn't clarify what vinegar to use, so I'm just gonna go with white wine vinegar simply because it's apparently good with chicken. And a tablespoon of water. We need more water. And some dill. I have no fresh dill, but I do have dehydrated dill, and that's good enough for me. Apparently there's a specific way you cut an onion where you don't start tearing up.
I haven't found that way yet.
I think every now and then I accidentally do it right. Like I think I'm doing it right.
I can guarantee you most of the time I don't do it right. So you just see me cutting an onion through tears.
Sometimes I close my eyes because again, the unwarranted confidence I have to not chop off my finger. And then I nearly do chop off my finger. That's good enough for me. I think that's pretty good. It's pretty good grated onions.
I like that you show it to the camera and then to me.
Yeah, I need you to see. So now I'm going to add my pork and my chicken. I don't think I shared yet what this series is going to be called because I do want to do this with other books. Did I ever tell you what I was going to call it?
No.
I'm gonna call it Cooking the Books, which I think is really cute.
Cooking the books.
Yeah, because you know it's like a illegal thing.
It's
It's a thing momsters do, you know. But yes, it's called Cooking the Books. And the next book I want to do Children of Blood and Bone because they mentioned eating jollof rice and fried plantains. Mm-hmm. And I've never tried to make plantains myself, but I have tried to make jollof rice.
Yeah.
And I think I kind of fucked up on it. So hopefully this time, under the pressure of doing it on camera, I'll do it right. I'm done with my garlic. I don't think I mince garlic right. I do it by feeling more than anything else.
Alright, I think, aren't you supposed to use the thingy?
Like the press thingy?
Yeah.
I never know how that works out.
Is that supposed to be minced?
I think so. Boop, 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 boop.
Because when they asked mince, I'm like, I also just chop it up the best
Yeah.
that I could.
As small as possible.
Yeah, but I think it does mean the press thingy.
My salt, again, don't measure. It's all about feeling. That's good. Some ground pepper, and then a teaspoon of vinegar. I will be measuring this because I do not like too much vinegar. Teaspoon, and then a tablespoon of water, and then 3 tablespoons of dill because I'm using dehydrated dill. Oh, it's equals. It's 1-to-1 ratio. That's the word. Again, it's all about feeling. I do really like fresh dill or the dill taste because I don't know why, but it tastes kind of buttery to me. Now, if I was a civilized person, I would use a utensil to mix it up, but I'm not, so I'm just going to use my hands. I always wash my hands afterwards, so that's important.
I would hope so.
I wash my hands before and after cooking. I think it needs a little bit more salt and pepper, and also a little bit more dill. Now, I'll put this to the side. Look at the meats. Do you think raw meat? Nah, never mind. I don't know what I was thinking. Mainly because it looks like a brain to me, so I was thinking, oh man, what if this gets censored on the YouTube?
I don't think they're gonna censor.
It looks like brain matter. Have you ever seen brain matter?
No.
Neither have I. So there's like a mold in order to do this, but we don't have mold money. So we're doing this by hand. And this is where I usually fuck up with dumplings. Okay, 3 equal parts. Take 1 ball, roll out the dough as thin as possible. Well, here's my dumpling layers. What are they called?
wraps.
The dumpling wraps. And now I'm going to try to make it into the shape of a pelmeni.
What?
The pelmeni. It's spelled P-E-L-N.
E-M-I?
I think so.
Pelmeni?
P-E-L-M-E-N-I.
N-E-N.
So I got my meat. Gonna put a little dollop right here. Oh, they did it very different.
Oh, it's too late.
Well, it's too late for this one. This one just looks kind of like a little butt. So this little butt one, let's try it one more time. I think this is the best one. The second one, but it's the best one. I think I did it.
Azazel.
Not doing anything.
It's being nosy.
He's gonna get a bunch of flour on his paws.
He loves that.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep on doing this till I have a big bag full of them. And I'm gonna pop them in the freezer. And tomorrow, I'll put them in a soup. So I guess I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
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 Hello and welcome to the next day into a new angle of my kitchen. So I rolled up all the dumplings and I think I did fuck up because I do think I have the wrappers to be too thick. I did end up splitting a lot of them and rolling them out to make it a bit thinner, but I still think I fucked up. And also some of them tore a little bit, and yeah, I ended up making around 3 pounds of the dumplings, but the recipe only requires 1 pound, so I tried to pick some of the best ones. I also think the shape is really weird. They look like butts to me, but that's just my opinion. So we're gonna start with the soup, and hopefully the soup is good enough that it would make up for the dumplings. So add in a dollop of oil to cook up my fancy Dutch oven pot. Very nice. So I'm going to add all these vegetables, some carrots, some diced onions, and I had some leftover diced mushrooms from earlier this week, so I'm just adding that in there too. We're gonna cook them until they get soft, and for the mushrooms to get watered down a little bit. The recipe doesn't state any like seasoning stack to it, not even like salt and pepper, which I think is absolutely wild. Always season your food. So I'm gonna go ahead and at this point add some paprika because I like a little spicy. And some garlic powder. Nothing crazy, just add a little flavor. Now I'm gonna add 3 quarts of chicken broth. Don't spill. I'm gonna let that reach a boil. Okay, now I have the soup to a boil. I'm just going to take down the heat a little and go ahead, add a cup of frozen corn, and my dumplings. Now I'm gonna let this sit for a little while until hopefully the dumplings rise up. I'm kind of worried they're a little too fat with the pH. To rise up, but we'll see. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that most of them has floated up to the top. So now I'm going to add a little salt and pepper to taste. That was pretty good. I'm also gonna add some crushed red pepper because one of my roommates can't handle spicy food and I hate him. And then I'm going to be adding some spinach as well because If the dumplings ain't good, at least we have a bunch of veggies. Now I'm gonna top it off with some parsley. And that's pretty much it. Now I'm gonna serve myself a little sample. See how it is. So now I'm gonna give it a try. The soup first. Soup is good. Soup is good. You can't fuck up broth, I think. But you can't fuck up a dumpling, which is what I'm worried about right now. So yeah, I do think I added too much. The wrappers are too thick and I didn't add enough meat. It's not that bad. Actually, it's not that bad. The flavoring of the broth does help, like, how much dough it is, because it kind of sucks up the flavoring a little bit. I was really worried this was gonna suck ass, but it's not that bad. If I make it again, I would make sure to roll the wrappers thinner and also seal it a little bit better so there's not these clumps where there's a whole bunch of dough. And also when I freeze it, I'll make sure to layer it out because that's the reason why a lot of them tore. But yeah, I think it's pretty good. You want to try a little more?
The broth is good.
The broth is good. You can't fuck up broth.
I like the dumpling.
You like the dumpling? Yeah. Thanks.
It's hot. It's hot. It's really good.
Thank you. It did come off straight from the stove. Did I turn off the stove? I did turn off the stove. Usually I forget to do that because of my ADHD. But yeah, it's a pretty good soup. Alina and all her little Greshas or whatever they're called, they really popped off with this one. So yeah, and again, my unwarranted confidence is kind of validated once again. So I guess that's it for today. Until next time, bye.